Hi, this is David back again. Last time I made a video, it was a couple of weeks ago, I guess, at this point. I had just taken my first treatment, so it must have been Monday, and I was telling you that I wasn't having any side effects yet. That was about 10:30. So it was about 10:45, about 15 minutes after I stopped that video, that some side effects started, but really they were quite minor. Had body chills, things like that, but took 2 Tylenol, went to bed, woke up middle of the night, felt fine, really. The thing is, the whole first week, I felt great. Didn't really have much in terms of side effects, a little bit here and there, but overall, I felt really good. So much so that I was able to keep running, so I ran a couple of different days that week, and everything was going along pretty well. I did get on Thursday, I believe it was, I started to get a pressure right below my sternum area, which the doctors thought was probably acid reflux. I'm not really sure what was causing it exactly, but I simply took Prilosec for that, and I've been on Prilosec since then, so about 2 weeks now, and we're coming up on 2 weeks, and that took care of the problem within a couple of days, and then I haven't had it again. So the first week went really well. I have to say, though, over the weekend things started to catch up with me. I started to get a lot more nausea, headache, fatigue, things like that. So while the first 5 days went well, it started to catch up with me then. And then I'd say week 2, starting on Monday, was really my worst week. Right now, just for reference, I'm in week 3. I've had 2 treatments this week, so it's Tuesday during week 3. But last week was definitely so far my worst week. Continued with some minor chills and body aches, but those were really not bad at all. The worst things that I had were the fatigue and the nausea, which I pretty much had constantly. Interesting, because the doctor told me I probably wouldn't even have any nausea, that it wasn't that common, but in my case, I certainly did. The other thing that happened week 2 was on Tuesday. I had a day where I was really depressed. My physical symptoms weren't terrible. They were, week 2, so it was kind of bad, but it was mostly just the fact that I felt like I couldn't take this for another minute even, and I knew that even if I stopped the treatment, that those symptoms would continue for at least a week or so, and I really felt trapped, like I just can't get out of this thing. Fortunately, when I went in for my treatment that day, the doctors gave me the regular pre-meds before the interferon, and those made me tired and groggy, and really kind of snapped me out of that depressive state that I was in. But that was by far the worst thing that I had to deal with, was that depression state that I went through for about 8 hours or so on Tuesday. The doctors wanted me to take antidepressants after that. They gave me a prescription for Lexapro, Lexapro, which I did start to take on Wednesday evening. They said take it at night, it'll help you sleep. But it really did a number on me. The Lexapro made me really tired. I mean, so tired I could hardly walk, dizzy when I was walking. So I'd lay down, go back to bed, but then as soon as I laid down, my mind would start racing, and I couldn't get it to stop. It was just like going on 1,000 different thoughts all the time, and so even though I'm dead tired and laying in bed, I can't fall asleep. So the next day, Thursday, was a relatively bad day for me, just because I didn't get much sleep or anything, and so I stopped the Lexapro right away, and the doctor suggested I should just take it in the morning instead. But I wanted to see if I had any more depression states, I didn't want to get on this drug for a year or so, just based on one bad encounter with depression, if it, wasn't going to be a continuing problem. And I'm happy to say that outside of that Tuesday, I've not had that state at all. So I've been actually quite good in that respect. And so I did not continue taking the Lexapro. And at this point, I'm pretty happy about that decision. Although I recognize that, as I go through the year, I may need to take it again. But at this point, I am not taking that. So week 2 went on pretty much the same. The other thing that I guess I had that I haven't mentioned yet is a really a total lack of motivation to do anything at all. I mean anything. So I would be sitting there and be very happy just to sit there in a chair staring at the wall for hours, and then sleeping the rest of the time, which is really unlike me, and that's been a bit of a struggle for me actually. So that really kind of sums up week 2. Then the weekend came, and Saturday was still pretty bad. I had a lot of nausea, fatigue. But Sunday started to get better. I actually stopped taking the anti-nausea meds because I didn't feel like I needed them. So I was still a little bit nausea, had a little bit of nausea, but less so, and it was getting better. So Sunday was a pretty good day. And Monday, kind of similar, but I did have nausea again. That was yesterday. Then I started getting the meds again. I'm in week 3 now. And what I started doing yesterday is I started taking the anti-nausea medicine, not completely around the clock, but much more often than I was earlier. So prior to this, since I really don't like to take meds that much, I was only taking it when the nausea was really bad. So now I started taking it more regularly, and it has helped quite a bit. I'm yesterday and today, I'm definitely better this week. Still have a little nausea, still fatigued, but on a different level than week 2, which was much worse. The other thing I would say to you is the fluids. You have to keep the fluids in you. My goal is always 100 ounces a day, and I must say that I am so sick of drinking water. The thought of it sometimes just makes me sick just thinking about drinking water. But you really need to get that fluid down. If you don't and you start to get more dehydrated, your symptoms just get much worse. And so I would encourage you to keep the fluids up as well. That's about it for now. I'm in week 3, day 2. Everything's going pretty well at this point. I can see the finish line, and I'm just making my way through. I hope if you're going through the same thing, you're having similar good results.